Where's du har min friend, and welcome to another video. Today I would like to point your attention to this quote here by John Ronald Reuel Tolkien. And it goes, "Fantasy is escapist, and that is its glory. If a soldier is imprisoned by the enemy, don't we consider it his duty to escape? If we value the freedom of mind and soul, if we're partisans of liberty, then it's our plain duty to escape and to take as many people with us as we can." Now, this is, in my opinion, the main and the chief goal of fantasy, of storytelling, of science fiction, of any fiction, to escape. Now, of course, we can write fiction for educational purposes. This is possible, yes. But myself, at least, I have always enjoyed reading books and comic books and watching films, mainly and chiefly because of its escapist aspect. And this is why I always say that your sociopolitics and your politics and your own identity does not belong into fiction. Of course, it is inevitable that the author's own soul will be reflected in the work of art to a certain extent. It is absolutely inevitable. But it is possible to write a good or even great narrative without sticking agendas into our noses. Now, there is a difference between when the author's opinions and his values and his psyche, his mind, his soul is reflected in the work of art, and when the author intentionally forces his agendas on the reader and puts the good storytelling in the background. Nobody cares about your identity. A lot of people, a lot of authors today, they very much like to incorporate the different aspects of inclusion, representation, and diversity into the work of art. They consider it their duty to add as many, as they call marginalized groups in the work of art as possible. And it really feels forced. It really feels unnatural. It feels fabricated. It doesn't feel good. Because the stories are shit. The stories are not written well. The characters are not written well. And it all feels very, very weird. Now, there have been a lot of people who have been trying to analyze Tolkien's work from different points of view, using various schools of criticism. And the worst of all is the feminist approach to literature. When I was at university, I was forced to take classes of feminist literature. Of course, when you study literature these days at university, you just must do it. It's compulsory. And I was feeling disgusted by all the nonsensical stuff that they find when they use this approach to anything. If you are looking for something, you'll always find something. So these people are constructing things. These people are making things up just so they can talk about their own identity. What does this mean? It means that these people who are screaming and shouting into the world that you have to find something in everything, and that everything needs to contain some sort of agenda, these people are very much insecure about their own identity. These people live very dissatisfied and insecure lives. They are not satisfied with their own lives. They live lives full of anger, full of fear, full of insecurity, as I said. Well, I do that as well, if you think about it. I'm not very much satisfied. I'm rarely satisfied. But I do very much enjoy good escapist literature, especially because I'm not satisfied with reality. So the gist of this video is to make a little suggestion to all of you who are trying to put your agenda into everything. Try to enjoy a little bit of escapism now and then. Not everything needs to be filled with your agendas. Not everything needs to show that this or that group is being oppressed. It's bullshit. It really is bullshit. Nobody cares. I don't. And that's why I will probably never ever read any newly published book or newly written book again. Because there are just not very many people who write this kind of literature. And if there are, they are not being published by one of the big publishers. They have to be self-published. Or they have to publish their books via crowdfunding campaigns. That's what I'm going to do. I've just finished my book, and I'm going to publish it through a crowdfunding campaign in my own country, because none of the big publishers would publish it, because I write old school literature filled with conservative opinions. Not opinions, but you know what I mean. Values. Conservative values. Like good old traditional family values. Good old European values, and so on and so forth. These things are not very popular these days. So yeah, try to get back to the roots here and there, to the roots of fantasy, to the roots of storytelling. Just enjoy pure escapism. That's all. It's not that tough, is it? Let me know in the comments down below if you agree with me or if your opinion differs in any way. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm out of here.